Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we will discuss about today's LeetCode problem, that is the stamping the sequence. So this is a hard type problem and we will understand exactly how we can think on solving a question like this. What exactly the question asking us to do, because this question seems to be a bit complex to many people. So let's see what the question is asking us to do and how we can easily think on hitting a question or finding a solution to this kind of question, how you can do that in a proper interview environment. Okay, moving ahead, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe to this channel for regular LeetCode videos like this. So the question so the question basically says, like, we are given two strings, stamp and the target. So there's the two string given to us, and initially consider there's a string s of length equal to target dot length. Okay, and all of string is like question mark, and we should replace in one turn, we should replace stamp over s and replace every letter s with the corresponding letter from stamp. So as an example, what it says, like, there's a stamp, say there's a string stamp given to us, that's an three characters abc, and there's a target being a combination of various other characters. Okay, now what it we need to do there, like, we consider that there's another string as s, being all question marks. Fine, in that place what we'll do, um, we'll simply place a stamp in a manner, like we can place a stamp at the beginning, like at the first character, at second character, or the third character, like as it says, like we can place a stamp as 0, 1 or 2, and like wherever we place a stamp on s, so that all the question marks of that area vanishes with the characters given in stamp. Okay, so that's the idea. So it's more like you were given an something and you were just stamping on the previous letters to just create some new letters. Okay, that's the idea. Now the further it said, the stamp must be fully contained, so that means we cannot, like, it should be something like within our letters, it cannot go out. Okay, it's like there's abc being three characters, so the last stamp can be with this three characters, so the first stamp can be only with this three characters. Fine, so that's the idea, so we cannot go beyond that. Fine, so that's the idea they say over here. Now further it says, like, we cannot convert s to target, like we want to convert s to target. So this is our s given to us and we want to convert this to our target. Fine, and for that we can use the at most 10 into target length. Okay, so what it means, like, that much number of turns we should use. Okay, we cannot use more than that much number of turns. So that means, like, whatever the target length, we can use like 10 times of the target length in number of turns, in number of iterations through the, like, through the s. Fine, that's huge number. We'll see how we can use this one in our code, but in our approach, but I don't think this would be much needed. Okay, let's see, we'll understand this in step by step. Further, uh, the question says return an array of indexes. Okay, so we need to return an array of indexes of the leftmost letter. So array of indexes being containing what, like wherever we put a stamp, uh, the first index where the stamp starts in our s, so we will return that. The idea is simple. Let's look at the example one. Example one says we are given a stamp of abc. Fine, so that's a stamp given to us and there's an target given to us, like a b abc. Okay, so that's the target. So now if we need to do this, we have remember, we will have five, we need to consider that there are, like, since the target length is 5, so we'll consider that there are like 5 question marks for us. Fine, so that's the idea. The initial consideration we have over here is that. Now what will be our approach? Our approach will be, we need to stamp it. So wherever we find abc as a whole, okay, wherever we find abc as a whole, we'll stamp it. That's our first target. Okay, so we found, like, we can do something like we can stamp on, we find a in the beginning, we simply stamped on the first and found like a b c and followed by question mark. So that's possible. Okay, and then we find that, what are these question marks? Okay, so these question marks are more like this two letters left to us. Fine, now in that case, whatever we need to, we need to put a second step at this a b c, and then we find that the whole array, like the whole s or s letter s, which are like the string s which you're creating, becomes like a b c. So by two stamping we reach there. Okay, so that's what they have explained us to us in this case. See, like the first they stamp at index 0, thus they stamp after stamping index 0, it becomes like abc, and followed by two question mark, and then we stamp at index 2, that's like a b a b c. So it's more like wherever we stamp, whatever the previous letters are there, it gets replaced by our new stamp. Okay, so stamping is simply that thing they are meaning to us. Okay, we're just replacing whatever the previous letters we have with our new letters. But how will you approach this? Because here you see you have a question mark, right? How do you know like a bc will be there? Like that's what you need to achieve. So that's a tremendous task. So why not go in the reverse order? I mean, we are trying to go from the star, from this question marks to our target. Fine. But whatever we reverse this process in the maze from this target to our star, like to our question marks. So if we go in the reverse order, we can find something. Let's see how we can improve that. Because if we're going in the as per the process shown to us, if we're going there, because like if you're going through the process, then we are not sure what we are need to place over these positions. Fine. But if you're going the reverse order, then we are sure that okay, there are letters and we need to stamp there, those are like left out. Fine. So that's the idea. Now what can be our reverse approach? Fine. The reverse approach is like we are given a b a b c. Okay, so after this, if we stamp on like we have abc as a stamp, now we find the exact same characters abc in our tag. So what do you do? We do like a b and then followed by question mark. You can do question mark, you can do star, you can do anything. That actually doesn't matter. Why is it so? I will tell you. Because we are supposed to return a string of indexes, so it doesn't matter whatever changes you make in our target or wherever you make changes. So it actually doesn't matter in any ways. So the first thing we did, we stamped on the exact string abc whatever we found, and we stamped on that. So once we do a stamp like that, so we put a question mark or maybe you put a star on it. So let's whatever. Okay, now and then add this index. What is the index? 0 1 and this 2, you stamped at index 2. So add this to our particular answer, like the answer index. Okay, so we find that 2, we stamped at 2. Next we find that this is the string left to us, and there's like ab is there. Okay, so once we find ab, and ab being the two starting indexes of a particular stamp being given to us, so what do we do? Like we put another stamp over here, another stamp like this one. Okay, question mark and then question mark. So this is like the stamp we put, and followed by the other question mark stamp that we had previously. Fine. So I'm just trying to write question mark, so ignore the shapes being created. But anyways, I hope this understands the concept. So we put the second stamp at index 0. Once you put, you may say like, okay, c was not there. Okay, c was not there previously, so how can we put a stamp on it? So the idea is not like that. The idea is like you can still put a stamp. The idea is see in this given example, they first put a stamp on 0, so it's like abc, and then they put a stamp on 2, so that replaces c with abc. Okay, so that was the idea. So anyways, if any of the character is missing, not in between but rather at the end or at the beginning, if any of the character is missing to us, what we can do is like we will stamp on it. It's like we are replacing the previous with the new one. Okay, so that there's no problem in stamping, because there's no like after previous stamp there's no character actually over there. So we can stamp on it and our stamp works because c doesn't hamper with anyone. So we can actually replace that with a replace the question mark with the question mark, so it doesn't matter. So and next time it becomes like we stamped at index 0. Fine. So once we stamp at index 0, so our answer becomes like 20. Okay, it's okay, completely okay. Why I'm saying it's okay? Because the question says in our example, it gives us a answer of 0 2, and further it says like 1 0 2 would also be accepted as answer, as well as some other answers. So your answer doesn't matter. Your answer should be like, you should stamp on every possibility. So if you're stamping on every possibilities, then you are done. Then you actually reach the answer. Okay, so your answer is 0 2 or 2 0, they will accept it anyways. Okay, so you, now the approach whatever we are left with, we are going backwards. Let me take another bigger example. Fine, bigger example, as in, say we have this stamp as ABC. Fine, let me just erase it off quickly. So say we have this stamp of ABC that we have previously. Fine. Now, in that, what we'll do, we'll simply okay, we got our step. Now, say we want this. Okay, so we have the stamp ABC, and in that, in the target, say we don't have ABC, we have something like another BC at the end. Fine, another BC at the end. So what we will do in our step, now we know that our approach will be going reversely. We need to think on the reverse order. Fine, so after what we'll do, in our step one, we'll do something like, we put a stamp over here. Fine, after stamping it will be like A B, then it's like say I'm just saying it's a star star and star. Okay, and then BC. Fine, so this is the one we have. So in the next traversal, what we will do, we will like in the first traversal we stamped at index 0, like, 0 1 and 2, we stamped at index 2. Fine, that's being added to our answer array. Fine, next traversal, what we need to do, we need to stamp, or like we find that there's a BC over here. Fine, so once there's a BC and we know our particular string, particular stamp ends with BC. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to stamp on this position. Okay, once stamp on this position, so the star remains star and BC will be replaced by two more stars. Why we are doing so? Because we are stamping on this one. Now this particular character is previously a star, we are not bothered what the character is, so we can easily stamp on it with a star. We are not changing anything back, right? We are keeping it as it is. So uh, it becomes star BC. So that is like ABC is being stamped over here. Fine, now so that's what the which index we are, 0 1 2 3 4. So that's the fourth index we stamped at. Okay, remember this, we cannot stamp at the last index or the indexes in like those indexes, because of this thing, because like the stamp must be fully contained in the boundaries of S in order to stamp. Okay, now in the next traversal, like after this second step, what we are left with, we are left with this. Fine, so in the next traversal, what we will do, we find like AB is there in our starting AB and followed by a star, so there isn't any problem with that. So we simply go ahead with this star star and this star, because star was there previously and we took this star. Okay, and then followed by all the whatever is there. So in like few steps we are going through it. Okay, so how will we do this in a proper programmatic way? The programmatic way is like, wherever we find, the initial step is like, wherever we find all the matches, like wherever, if we find like complete match is there, we'll simply stamp on those positions. Complete match we find, we'll stamp on those positions. Fine, the next step we'll see if there are like any endings with AB, like with the endings of our stamp. It may happen that only we find the star star and C. So if we find something like this, we stamp on it again, on this position again, to be like ABC. Right. So that's maybe happen. Also, it may happen like A star star. So that may happen. So we stamp on this position with being ABC. Okay. So our next target will be, we will keep traversing. If we find anything like AB star, so we find like something already a star is there, we can replace that. We find a starting star is there, we can replace that. Fine, it cannot be possible something like A star C. If you find something, it can't be like you cannot stamp here twice. You took once A and stamp this, once B and stamp this. So that's not possible. How? Why is not possible? Actually, this case is actually doesn't valid, or this doesn't come to us because how will you star only B? How will you stamp anything only B? B being on the middle. That's not possible. You star anyways on three characters, right? So that's not a possible case. So this won't come anywhere. Fine. Now the idea step by step is we'll stamp on the exact matches first, then we find matches that are ending, then we find the matches that are starting. So what we need to do, like we will simply traverse, like see that we will keep a count of the number of stars. Okay, so what will be the number of stars? The number of stars should be isn't it should be always less than like less than or equal to, like exactly equal to the target. Once it's equal to the target we find our answer, but it should be less than the target always before we actually find our final answer. Fine. If the number of stars is not less than the target, is we are not done. Now there is like at most 10 into 10 times the length. Now see how many times you actually need to traverse this. Fine. You are traversing this more or less like how many times you are just stamping it on every time. You are just finding wherever you find, you are stamping it. So it's like 2 3 steps only before you actually end with the solution. To its 10 times solution is not something you will reach in this. Okay, so we'll go ahead with this kind of approach. Now it's time to code, but how will we code? We'll do to like we'll need 2 3 more functions to help us. The functions we will need is like, can we replace? We need to check, right? We need to check, can we replace a particular like the character sequence with our stamp or not? That's a check we need to do. Further we need another function in which we will replace this character sequence. Okay, a particular character sequence we are replacing. So it's like, can we replace this character sequence, and are we like we replace this character sequence? So one is replace, and is can we replace. So there's this two one function we need to just help us with this, and the whole idea will be to traverse through this target array again and again till all the target array becomes something like star or question mark, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So that will be the whole array. Now I'm continuously thinking of character array. So here we are given string, so we need to convert it to character array. That's the first thing first. So let's just quickly write the code, and then I will simply again like simply explain it to you again in a short term. So what we are doing over here. Fine. Yes. So here you see this is like a 4 millisecond solution, and probably 3 millisecond is the fastest one we have. But this works pretty fast. So let's understand what exactly we did in our solution. We were going as per what we are have in plan. So the first thing, few things were like converting our given array stamp and target as like character array, and then we took an boolean array that is the visited. So this one is like storing the target, like total length of the target, and it's storing if we have already visited this particular node or not. Like previously, if we have checked for this node and done some stamping or previously, so we'll not repeat that. So that will just make our code a bit faster. So for that particular purpose, we went ahead with this one like visited array. Okay, just an dp array to just keep a check. Now further, we have a count of stars. So this count of stars will you can have stars or question mark, it doesn't actually matter. So let's take it star. Okay, so this count of stars, so in that count of stars we will simply store like if this count of stars is equal to target length or not. Fine. And this is our array list we took. So this array list will create our answer for us. So this array list will continuously keep on adding the no like the particular position where we place a stamp. So that's the position where it starts. Okay, it will just store. Now next part to the main logic. This main logic is like this while part. Okay, because after this while part, what we're doing, we're just converting our array list to our array. Okay, then returning our array. So that's return is our int return. Okay, fine. So that's there. So now this is the main important part, the while loop. Okay, the while loop, we just simply give a check, like if the stars count of our stars is less than our this target length. Okay, now we take one variable is replaced being, if we are replacing like in a particular traversal, if we can replace a particular string, then it should be true. If not, it is false. So initially we are taking this as false. Okay, now this is an important part. This is an important part as in we are traversing through our target length. Okay, like the whole target array again and again and again. Now something important we need to look here, we started from 0 and it goes till less than equal to target length, that is t dot length minus s dot length. Why is it so? It is done to just keep in track of this particular statement, that is the stamp should be fully contained. So whatever the stamp length, that should end at the before the target ends, like at the end of the target. So that's also possible. So to keep in track of that, we just starting our loop from 0 till we don't exceed our target length, exceed our stamp length. So that's the idea we keep over here. Fine. Now in this for loop, in this particular for loop, what we're doing, in this particular for loop, we are just checking if we have, which we can replace. The first check is if we have visited this particular node or not. If we have visited, that means if we have previously uh, did some of the operation from this node or not. Fine, because we are again and again traversing through this loop, again and traversing through this loop, like while star count less than t, and in that we are running this loop from 0 till the uh, uh, target length. Okay, so in that, if you have started from some low from some index, so there's no need to continue with that again and again. So that's the visited. So it should be like if not visited any particular node, like the starting node is not visited, then we check if we can replace, if there's a possibility of replace. So can replace is a function additional to us. Okay, so can replace, what it does for us, can replace is like it takes two three things. It just takes the current index, the ith index which we are checking for, and it checks for it takes the target character string, and this like the stamp character array. Okay, so these two things, and we're checking from 0 till s dot length, like the whole stamp array, if we can place a stamp or not. Okay, now if we're checking like if I plus p, so p is our current placement, like starting placement, I is the current node, like the current index of our stamp array. Okay, fine. So we're checking if I plus p is not equal star, if a particular node is not star, so that means that basically means if say we are at this position at like a b star star and then followed by b c. Fine, we first put a stamp over here, and next we are just traversing to our next index. Okay, in that case we're just checking like if I plus b, say we are at this index. Okay, so this is our pth index that is being passed to our array. Now if I plus b not equal to star, is it so? No. So if it's false, we are simply going for the next iteration of I, because there's nothing to do if the first case is not true. uh, So we start, so we can definitely go ahead with the next character. So we just move to the next character. Okay, and we do like if I plus p, t of I plus p, this is the t of I plus p, fine. uh, so we are at this position, and when we check that this is not start true, and t of I plus p not equals to s of I. S of I is we are at the same time traversing through a b c. This is a stamp, so this is the first character. We didn't check for that because that was star, and we came for the second character, and we find that this is equal to b. If this was not equal to b, okay, if this was not equal to b, like if there is not a character match in a sequential character match, then we cannot replace. So that's the can replace checks for us. Okay, if the sequential match is okay, we can replace it, fine. So we can replace it, that's what we find. Now because how will it matter, I will, let me give you a small example how will this actually matter. Say we are at this index, okay, at index the next to our first stamping, we are at this index, fine. In that index, what we'll do, we will simply um, we are at this index, we find that I plus p is star, we move to the next index, fine, and we move to the next index that is over here, fine. Now we again find that is I plus p is star, that is this one is already star, so we move to the next index, fine, and then we find that is b is there, and the character at like the stamp we have c. So can we replace that? No, we cannot replace. So that was the idea behind this can replace is doing for us, fine. So that's the idea. Now further we have two three more things. So we are like if we can replace it, then we are replacing it. Okay, we are replacing it in the sense we are simply checking that going through the length of a stamp. You can see s dot length is being passed to us. Okay, so we're going through the length of a stamp, and from the starting index p till the whole length, and we're checking if any of the character is not star, we're just replacing with the star, and we are increasing our star count as a count increment. Okay, that is being stars count is being sent to us, that is the count variable. Okay, so we are replacing a returning count, so returning count is being stored in the star. So once we are replacing it, we are making sure that we replace something, that's true. Okay, we replace something, and then we make like we visited this particular row, and we added our index to our result array. Okay, at a list, and further if the star count is already equals to the t length, like the total length we have got, if it's equal to the t length, then we do something like we in a particular traversal our t length is equal, we break it, and like we found like we're done with the whole thing, so then we simply return this answer array. But in any case, if we couldn't replace anything, so what does that mean? Say in a whole traversal, we're traversing through the whole array, and there wasn't a single point where we could replace. What I mean is, say there is something like star star b. I'm sorry, star star b is there. So if something like that, and we are given like a b c, say star star something like that. Okay, so we first made a replacement over here, and then we traverse to the whole array, and we found that we cannot make a replacement. We cannot make further replacements. Okay, if that is so, can we return anything? No, we need to return that null array. Okay, we just return, we couldn't replace in the second iteration, we couldn't replace, so we just return null array. Not, that's not possible. Okay, we replace null array. So that's the whole idea, fine. That's the idea, we couldn't replace, and we so that's the whole thing over here. Now further in this so that's the whole idea we have, and further in this we simply went ahead with creating an answer array and returning this. So that's how the whole thing works, and you saw like this is a pretty fast 4 millisecond solution. So that's the idea. I hope I can make you understand how we can think on like hitting a solution like this, or finding a solution of this kind of question, though it's termed as a hard, but at this point in our video I don't think it remains as a hard question for you any further. So if it is so, make sure to comment them down in the comment section. I'll be happy to know your opinion about this. Also, if you face any doubt understanding this still now, make sure to post them down in the comments. I'll be happy to help you out again with that concept. So that's more or less about this video, guys. So thank you all for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video as well. Thank you.